Ha! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Sunday Q&A stream. I am the Goldman. Actually, I'm going to change the title real quick of this video. Thoughts on Netflix's Avatar 1 year later. We don't need to talk about that, obviously. On these Sunday Q&As, we talk about whatever we would like. But I'm glad to be here. Charlie the Dumbo. I don't think I've recognized you in the chat before. Hello, I early because I'm very punctual. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being punctual. Dragon Claw says, hello there. Hello there, General Dragon. Rishav says, hey, Goldman, how are you doing? I'm doing well. I'll be honest, I just woke up like 20 minutes ago. Had a fun night last night, I'll say that. And, but work is work, and I'm glad to be here for a stream to talk about anything you guys would like. For those of you who are regular to my Q&A streams, you know we don't necessarily need to talk about what's in the title or thumbnail. It's just a way to, I don't know, I need to put something in there. Sean says, what's up? Nice jacket. Thank you. This is my Korra hoodie in celebration for my Avatar video that just came out. I really wish when I bought this, I bought the not zipped up one. I just think it looks much better. But I've had this for quite a few years now. And yeah, it's my Avatar Korra hoodie in celebration for a great show. Sean says, what do you think of the Luka Doncic trade, Goldman, since you are a Knicks fan? It's talk basketball quick. The trade triggers me a little bit because of course it's to the Lakers of all teams, and my Knicks lost last night. But I don't really care. We'll see how good the Lakers are. We played the Lakers one more time. So I think it was a very fun night to talk to people. Real Alf says, hey, I made it this week. Thank you. Yeah, I apologize for missing last week's Q&A stream. I had a very urgent matter to attend to. It was by no means serious, so there's like nothing to be concerned about. It was a very exciting thing. I can't get into the specifics of it. But just know there's nothing to be concerned about. Everything's good, and I'm actually really happy. Where was I? Rishav says, are you still going to watch Netflix Avatar after your opinion has changed? Yes. If I was not making YouTube videos, then no, I would not. I feel like I have try not to sound pretentious. Like, as a YouTuber who talks about this stuff, I feel like I have a duty to watch these things, even though I am morally against them. Because there's things I could be morally against, and there's boundaries, right? I'm morally against really serious crimes. I'm not going to do them. While, watching an animation to live action movie adaptation is not on that same level. So I don't mind breaking my rule to watch it. And I'll probably watch the live action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon later this year. Fun fact, I have not seen the animated versions either, but I will watch them before the live action movie comes out. So don't worry, I'll watch the animated movies first. I'm going to wait closer to the release of the live action one. Where was I? Kaiwan says, I love your videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try my best. Dragonclaw says, 2-question, Goldman. Would you ever do a video on how video game adaptations got better over time? Would you consider talking about how good a movie/show is as an adaptation in your adaptation reviews? First question, would I do a video on how video game adaptations have gotten better over time? Did you watch my buddy Thrifty Typewriters video? So he just did the same thing yesterday. I'd consider it. The thing is, a lot of video games that have gotten adaptations, I haven't played those video games. I played Halo, sure, but besides that, you have to list them off the top of my head. I never played Fallout. And I do think I'm often conflicted about this, because I do think there is value in judging an adaptation by its own merits, not simply saying this stinks because it's a bad adaptation. That was a point I tried to get at with the Goblet of Fire video, is that I don't think it was a good adaptation, but it was a decent movie. So there's merit there. What was the second part of the question? Would you consider talking about how a good movie or show is an adaptation in your adaptation reviews? Yeah, I'd consider it. I'll probably do that when I cover my next adaptation, which would be, I don't know when. I gotta raise my desk a little. I do have a standing desk, by the way. I'd have to wait and see. Kaiwan says, but I have to disagree with you on the show. I always felt like the version of that show wanted to take all the energy out of it. And communism? What are you talking about? Talking about Legend of Korra? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Sean says, Golden, what do you think about the Butler trade? Jimmy Butler is a hack, useless. I don't care. The Warriors are still irrelevant. Marcelino says, some people want Netflix Avatar to make a season 4 or 5 by adapting the comics, since some fans aren't comic fans. It would probably be better than the current direction. I mean, sure. And actually, no, they don't. The comics are fine, they're interesting, but they're best served as like spin-offs to the main story and not a continuation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So no, I wouldn't want to see that. Sean says, also Goldman, how has your week been? Overall, a solid week. I finished my Avatar video maybe Tuesday, and I've been working on my next video, which is a video essay about the state of Marvel. The video is going to be titled, as of right now, Captain America Can't Save the MCU, and here's why. A bit clickbaity, I know, but I've been thinking a lot about getting into these more video essay type stuff, especially after I put out a poll like a month ago, where like 96% of you said you wanted to see me do more video essays as opposed to just reviews. So this is going to be one of them. And then I'm also currently working on my Daredevil video. I'm debating right now with Daredevil if I want to do an individual video on each season and then a compilation like I did with the Clone Wars, or just do one big Daredevil season video. So I'll have to wait and see. Marcelino says, also don't apologize for not doing last week's Q&A stream because you come first. We're all still human living normal lives. That is true. But this is my job. I got to be a little bit more disciplined. But I only missed one. Robert Allen says, if you're planning to watch the Super Bowl tonight, which trailers are you hoping to see? I'm not a big trailer guy. Maybe an Andor trailer, if anything, but I doubt it. Thing is, a lot of movies I don't care to see trailers for unless I'm really, really excited for it. So I know they're going to release trailers for some of the Marvel things. And they'll probably release a new Superman trailer. It's not going to change my opinion on if I'm going to see the movie or not. I'm not really hyped, dying to see those movies. So I'm probably not going to be super invested. Will I watch them if they're on TV? Yeah. But I probably won't watch them if they just show up on YouTube or Twitter. Real Alf says, were you able to watch Prime sequel trilogy video? It was so good. He really went in on Rise. I agree, but it was unexpected. Yeah. We were actually talking about that I was DMing him, because I know he released his original trilogy and prequel trilogy videos early on, and he couldn't get the sequel trilogy video out. And he was dealing with copyright issues, and I was seeing if I could try and help him out. But what we concluded was if you notice in the video, he had to put a lot of stills of movies instead of clips every time. And he just had to keep on going through pass and pass at that until YouTube said it was okay. Because I think when you show too much Star Wars, they get upset. But when you change a movie clip to just a still, then YouTube kind of accepts that. So I was helping him with that. I shouldn't say I'm helping him. I was helping with that. I was just like giving him tips. Like, oh, you probably need to do this. And he got the video out. I watched very little of it because it's a long-ass video, but I'll get back to it. Sean said, Goldman. Oh, whoa. Goldman, some YouTube Shorts videos said 2026 will be awesome movie-wise, since like Ice Age 5 or 6 comes out, as well as Toy Story 5. And maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I am, but Shrek 5. I think Shrek 5 got delayed, but 2026 is a big movie year in general. Star Wars is coming back. The Avengers is coming back. Oh, the Batman got delayed. There's a handful of movies. I have a big list. I forgot them, but I'm pretty excited for it. Lennox says, I actually enjoyed the live action Avatar. I understand there were changes, but I like the show. That's fine. I enjoyed the show somewhat too. I like seeing the things. I just want to try to be a little objective about it. My opinion drastically soured. And I think last year I was a bit more on the hype train. Rishav says, have you heard about the leaks from the upcoming Earth Avatar show? It was detailed in 2 articles posted on Night Edge Media. I've heard about them a little bit, not too much in depth. I am very curious from what I've heard. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm not going to go into those spoilers or those leaks, but it is very interesting. I wonder when the show is supposed to come out. Marcelino says, I don't play video games anymore. I just watch the cutscenes online if they have a great story. If it's a game like Duke Nukem, I'm interested. I do that too with Jedi Jedi Survivor. I didn't actually buy the game. I just watched all the cutscenes in like a 4-hour video. And it was very good. I just rather watch a 4-hour YouTube video on the cutscenes than play the game for 20 hours. I know I'm probably not appreciating the game properly, but that's me. Realoff says, I think an adaptation has more of a responsibility to fit the new medium rather than contain everything from the previous story. The themes or morale should probably remain, though. I completely agree. I definitely agree. I think sometimes when you're adapting something, it goes both ways, where you're just completely focused on telling a good story that you lose the original purpose of the original story. And then sometimes you try to cater to the original story too much, whether that be visuals or specific running gags or anything else, where it actually doesn't form a good story. And I think Netflix Avatar falls into the latter. And there's a healthy balance that these stories needs to find. Lennox says, also WTF were the Dallas Mavericks thinking? Yeah, I don't know. They're crazy. Yeah, I should text my friend. I have a good friend who's a big basketball fan, and he's not into like movie stuff like I am, so he doesn't watch any of the things that I've talked about in my videos. And he'll laugh when I tell him that people in my movie review live stream kept on talking about the Dallas Mavericks. He'd laugh about that. Persephone Diggins says, when you make a video about the first season of Percy Jackson, I don't know if I will. I haven't read the books. So when did the first season of Percy Jackson come out? Has it been a year? Percy Jackson Disney Plus. That came out December of 2023. Oh, I missed my window. I was going to say if it came out like in the summer of last year, then maybe I would do a video on it. But like 2 years later doesn't sound as good. Andres says, have you seen Dune? Yes, Dune. So a little sneak peek. This upcoming weekend, so the 15th of April, I'm going to be releasing a MCU video. The weekend after, I'll be doing a Daredevil video. That's on February 22nd. And then on March 1st, I will be doing Dune Part 2 1 year later. And that's actually perfect because it's the exact day Dune came out. So I'm looking forward to that. Goldman, what do you think of the Fantastic Four trailer? It might have actually been a teaser trailer, but I actually wasn't vibing with it as much. I'm not a big fan of these like retro takes. I know there's big comic fans out there and they'll appreciate that. I think the costumes look goofy in this new movie. I think the Thing, is that the name of the Rock character? He looks terrible, even though I love the actor. I'll still see it and hopefully it's good. But I wasn't blown away by the trailer. Marcelino says, do you think you'll do a video on V for Vendetta? I doubt it. Unless it's like 10 years later. Why are the Chiefs hated? Because they pay the refs. Persephone says, an adaptation is like a song cover. Maybe not all people will like it, but sometimes it's so ugly it can ruin the original song sometimes. I'm not much into music, but I hope that's a good analogy. Sean says, Goldman, just looking at your backdrop, it looks like you're a huge reader. So what are some of your favorite books? If you look closer at my backdrop, they're all Star Wars books, except I have Game of Thrones right here, Harry Potter here. I have some Halo books right here. And then here are the Hunger Games books right there. I'm very excited for Sunrise on the Reaping. I always forget, is it Sunrise of the Reaping or on the Reaping? Sunrise on the Reaping. Yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm very excited for that because I love the Hunger Games books. And that comes out next month. I'm actually considering doing a Hunger Games series of videos in March so I could time it with the release of this new book. I'm very excited. Where was I? Hot sauce. That's why I believe the idea of a live-action Clone Wars will not work at all. I remember when Ahsoka Episode 5 came out and people were thinking about if it would work or not. The interesting thing about animated Ahsoka versus live-action Ahsoka is animated Ahsoka fights in a very finesse way. You know, she's very quick and she can do all these acrobatics. And then when you watch 40-year-old Rosario Dawson play the character, you know, she's a human being. She can't actually do the things animated Ahsoka can do. So it makes her look a little weird. And like watching young Ahsoka do these like backflips or whatever, I just can't picture them actually doing that in live action. They would need one hell of a choreographer. I wouldn't want to. The main reason I wouldn't want to see it is not because it's an adaptation, but because it's a waste of time. You know, tell a new story with that kind of money. But I do agree with the premise of your point. Persephone says, so do it whenever the second season will come out, but I don't know if you'll ever read the books. I might. I mean, never say never, but I have a long list of things I want to read. A Spartan Strategy says, what do you think of Invincible Season 3 so far if you have watched it? I have not watched it. I have not watched any of those seasons. Sorry. Kevstar says, will you do a video about X-Men, the animated series, and X-Men 97? Probably not. But I could be interested in watching X-Men 97. I was never big in the X-Men stuff. I never watched all the Fox movies, and I never read any of the comics or read any of the books or watched any of the original cartoons. So there's a lot I don't know there. Annie Mac says, my issue with Netflix show was because we know what's coming. It's so obvious when they're doing stuff not for book one, but trying to build stuff for the other book unnecessarily. Azula was not needed. Yeah, I agree Azula was not needed. You could have taken her out and devoted more time to the main characters. And it's like, that means in season 2, there would be a lot more anticipation for both Azula and Toph. But there isn't. Would you rather be an author or a movie director? That's a good question, Doo-doo. I think an author. My perfect life outcome would be like a George R. R. Martin, where I've written these really successful book. They've been adapted into something really popular, except I finished my book series. I think I'd rather do that. But there are lots of... it is very enticing to want to be a director. Thing about being a movie director is things like managing actors and all that doesn't really interest me. I just want to tell stories. So maybe I'd be a screenwriter more than anything. Persephone says, please do the Hunger Games video series. It could be interesting. Yeah, I'm a big Hunger Games fan. I love the books. I really enjoy the movies. I probably like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes more than most people. Granted, I've only seen it once. I need to rewatch it. But if I do a Hunger Games video series, I probably wouldn't cover Ballad. Because it is also the 10-year anniversary of Mockingjay Part 2. So it's perfect timing for me. You know, I can release a video series right when the new book comes out. And then I can also do a video where it's the Hunger Games series 10 years later. Melv says, will you do a Spider-Man Through the Years video like you did with Batman? I think what I would do with Spider-Man is I wouldn't do the same style of video as the Batman video, just because the Batman video got no views. What I would do, though, is I would I would do 3 separate videos on Spider-Man. I would do the Spider-Man trilogy, so that's the Tobey Maguire, the Amazing Spider-Man duology, which is Andrew Garfield, and then a third video on the Spider-Man Home trilogy. So I would do 3 separate videos as opposed to like one big video. I'd prefer to do that when like a new Spider-Man project comes out. So we'll have to wait and see. What is your favorite Star Wars character? Luke Skywalker, I'd say. Persephone says, I hope you'll do what Martin hasn't done yet and finish that finishing your book series. I would finish it unless I died prematurely. Persephone says, that's weird. I got an ad now. Yeah, there's ads on the stream. Not many, hopefully, but there are ads. Matthew Kelly, welcome back. Q&A. God, I'm losing my voice. Since there's new info... Jesus. Since there's new info that Sigourney Weaver's role, that she sends Din Djarin mission to the Outrealm, do you think she could be like her character had a role in the New Republic? Sure. I'll say that. Drink some water. Yeah, I should have refilled this more. I'm almost empty. By the way, for you hardcore Goldman fans, you may notice I have a different water bottle now. I got this Stanley for Christmas. So my flower water bottle that I used to have is no longer in my possession. I know, rest in peace. I had that water bottle since the beginning of the channel. So that's pretty nostalgic for me. I'll give you guys an insight of some of the things I want to cover in March. I know I showed a sneak preview to you guys last time, but that list is always changing. So my next videos I will do is I'll do an MCU video essay next week. I'm still debating if I want to do a Captain America video or stream. Probably stream, but that is not set in stone. By the way, anything I put in my community posts, again, is not set in stone. That's just my tentative schedule. So on February 22nd, I would like to release my Daredevil video. I'm still debating if I want to do multiple parts for that or just one big video. We'll see. On March 1st, I want to do a Dune Part 2 1 year later video. That will very likely happen. Then after Dune, I want to do the Hunger Games movies. I think for that, I will do one individual video for each movie and then release a compilation video of all 4 movies. It really pisses me off, though, that I can't title the video The Hunger Games Trilogy because there's technically 4 movies. So I would probably call it The Hunger Games Films 10 years later. So that means that'll probably take me like 2 weeks to go through all 4 movies. And then in March, on no particular days, I want to cover the Halo series 1 year later. Fallout 1 year later. I might do another video essay on live action adaptations when the Snow White movie comes out. I'm probably not going to see it, but I could do a video essay on like the subject matter as a whole that I'm interested in doing. And then I'm debating if I want to do a video essay on Shogun 1 year later, and then maybe the Fantastic Beasts trilogy 3 years later. I'm iffy on the Fantastic Beasts trilogy because Harry Potter is not very relevant right now. But that is something I'm interested in doing. And then in April, I'm probably going to cover Star Wars again. I'm debating in April if I want to do... I know some of you have asked this, because I've already covered the prequel trilogy films on this channel, but that was in my old video essay style. I might want to redo those videos with like covering the productions, because those movies have the most interesting productions you can ever see. So I want to cover that, especially Revenge of the Sith 20 years later. And then hopefully I can do a compilation video that's like the prequel trilogy 10 years later or 20 years later. I can't miss out on that. So yeah, those are some of my tentative ideas for the next 2 months. Where was I? Marcelino says, do you think you'll do an April Fool's joke video by making years later on Sharknado, where you pretend to say they're great films of all time? Probably not. I did do one April Fool's video where I said, it was like a Claude video. It was like, why Claude's the best character. You know, if I were to do an April Fool's video, what would it be on? I'd want it to be a bit clickbaity instead of just saying like, oh, Sharknado is great. I don't know. The thing with April Fool's videos is they don't age well, because when you're looking at a video in like June, the video will just say 2 months ago. So the video would only be funny for like the day it comes out. But that's not a terrible idea. Persephone says, yes, I guess you got the sweatshirt as well with the water bottle. I know it's related in a way to the live action Avatar, but never saw you wear it until now. I've had this for actually quite a while. I got this back in college, so that was at least 4 years ago. Yeah, I love this. I used to wear this all the time. Back when I really was into Avatar, I still am now, but like when I first watched the shows and then I rewatched them, like I'd wear this all the time. Because I am a big Legend of Korra defender. Watch my video. At the Goldman, I have a question about the Luke in The Last Jedi. Why would Luke, after seeing a bit of darkness in Ben, try to kill him while with Vader? Why would Luke, after seeing a bit of darkness in Ben, try to kill him while with Vader would see good in him? So, this is the thing, right? With Vader, Luke made a concerted effort to see the good in him. You know, he found out Vader was his father. He accepted that. He felt the good in Vader and then made a plea to him to turn back to the light side. With Kylo, it's not like he saw the dark side in Kylo, pondered it for multiple days, and then tried to kill him. With Kylo, he just went to Kylo because he was concerned, saw what was in his mind, and then as an instinct of shock, took out his lightsaber. It's not like if Kylo sat there and understood what was happening, Luke would have still proceeded to kill him. No, Luke would have been like, listen, Ben, I'm sorry. Let me try and help you. So that's where the difference is. It's not a comparable situation, because Luke didn't have the chance to save Kylo. He kind of just tweaked out and Kylo overreacted and left. I wouldn't say overreacted, actually. He reacted pretty fairly. Matthew Kelly, what if another reason they put Sigourney Weaver's character in the ending of Mandalorian and Grogu is because she's going to be the next High Magistrate of Navarro after Greef Karga passed away? Sure. I doubt Sigourney Weaver would want to do any shows. Like, I doubt she'd do a Disney Plus show. But if the character is fun, then sure. Persephone says, when? This is the first time I see it, and I watched his live streams for a while. I mean, I think I've shown off this jacket like in the very early days of the Goldman, when I had like less than 1,000 subscribers, and I've taken down those streams. So I'm not sure if like there's anywhere I'm publicly wearing this on a video, but I've had it for a while. Interesting, a lot of my viewers just checked out. Will you do a review of Aang, the Last Airbender movie when it releases next year? 100%. That is something a Star Wars movie or an Avatar movie are two things I would never miss a video on to save my life. I just wouldn't miss them. Those are my two favorite franchises. I'm trying to think if there's any other franchise where if a movie came out, there's nothing that could stop me from making a video on it. Not Marvel, not DC, not comics, not even if they did another live action Lord of the Rings movie, so not the War of the Rohirrim, like a live action Lord of the Rings, I wouldn't miss that. If they did a Game of Thrones movie, there's no way I'd miss that. If they did a Halo movie, there's no way I'd miss that. I think those are my 5 favorite franchises. unless I'm missing one. I wouldn't miss a Hunger Games movie, I don't think. I already did. I missed the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so I take that back. But yeah, definitely Avatar and Star Wars I would never miss. Sean says, hot sauce. Sorry, I could not fit my question correctly with the limited letters. You could post 2 comments. Connor says, at the Goldman Q&A, what are your thoughts on / have you watched some of the big anime / manga like One Piece or Naruto? No, I haven't seen them. Unfortunately, I didn't really grow up on anime. I think I could have been into anime if I was introduced to it at a younger age, but no, I haven't seen them. Matthew Kelly says, Q&A, what type of Star Wars games do you might think we could see in the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 console? I mean, nothing unique to the Switch. You think greedy-ass Disney is going to release a Star Wars game only for one platform? No way. Rashav says, do you think if the audience saw what was in Luke's mind, what Luke saw in Ben's mind, some people would have been more understanding of that scene? I think so. If they showed Luke looking into Kylo's mind and Luke saw the death of Han Solo, I could be convinced people would be more interested or more understanding. All people know, I think a great way they could have filmed that scene is if, Luke reaches over Ben's head and then it zooms into Luke's mind and you see what he's seeing. And then when it zooms out, Luke has the lightsaber up. So we don't actually see him grab the lightsaber. We just cut to him having the lightsaber out to show it was a very instinctual thing that he didn't intend to do. I think that could have been a very effective way to film that scene. Persephone says, I tried to find the moment when he said anything about it and couldn't find it. Oh, about my jacket? I don't even remember what I was going to say. Derpy Entertainment. So what episodes do you think they'll cover for season 2 live action? Ooh, good question. I love doing this because if you give Netflix Avatar anything, they did try to adapt the episodes. Avatar: The Last Airbender episode list. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to introduce Toph. No. I think in the first episode, they're going to go back to Omashu. And there they'll meet up with Azula, May, and Ty Lee. And then we'll also get some Zuko stuff. I think they'll show the fallout of Aang in the Avatar state and him getting scared of that because, that's classic Netflix Aang. And then he'll go to Omashu. So I think the first episode will be mostly the return to Omashu. The second episode, I think, will be the introduction to Toph. I think they'll devote a whole episode to that and maybe tie in Zuko alone into that. There's no way they're not adapting Zuko alone. Now, this is where I'm conflicted. You'd think they would adapt the whole beach and library story. But I feel like a reason they showed Wan Shi Tong in season 1 was because they're not going to show him in season 2. I think that would be a huge mistake, though. So I'm going to say episode 3 will be them going to the library. I think episode 4 will be the escape from the library and they're in the desert and they find the Sandbenders. Episode 5 could be them entering Ba Sing Se. So going through the Serpent's Pass and then fighting the drill. I lost count. What did I say that was? Episode 6? Omashu, Toph, the library, the desert, entering Ba Sing Se. Episode 6 could just be a Ba Sing Se episode. Episode 7 could be when Aang leaves. You know how the group leaves for a bit? Oh no, episode 6 could be finding Appa. That whole storyline. So episode 6 is they're in Ba Sing Se and they find Appa. Episode 7 could be like, they find Jet and all that and things look good. And then episode 8 would be the crossroads of destiny. Maybe. So that's how I think they could do that. Persephone says, I hope I could see the movies about Zuko and Korra as soon as possible. Also Kyoshi, but she isn't my favorite character in the show. I don't know if those movies are happening. Like, there was rumors about them when Avatar Studios first came out, but they haven't mentioned them since. It's like the infamous Rian Johnson trilogy. They mentioned them, and then they haven't been mentioned since, so I don't know. Gius, Titan, I'll just say Titan. Q&A, are you going to review the upcoming James Gunn Superman movie? Potentially. I'm considering doing a history of James Gunn video, like his filmography. Or should I just do like Man of Steel 12 years later? I might do both. In December, I also want to cover the original Fantastic Four movie, some of the Jurassic Park movies. Lots of stuff to cover in January, July, and June. Sean, Goldman dream car? I don't really have one. I'm not much of a... I drive a really ratty car, by the way, right now. It's cheap. I don't need to go many places. I work from home. I don't drive anywhere. If I had to have a dream car, I don't know. I'd have to do more research, honestly. I don't have one off the top of my head. Robert Allen says, why do you think we never get any G-rated movies anymore? Last one was Toy Story 4 in 2019. It seems they are being very stingy with G ratings. I think a lot of these companies want to cater to an older audience, and they may not be as interested in a G-rated movie. Maybe. I don't know. Just a Fan says, I just found your channel, and I love your perspective. You've got some awesome videos, and I look forward to more content. I'm hoping season 2 gives more backstory on Toph, but we'll see. Thank you. I appreciate that, Just a Fan. Thank you for supporting the channel. Sirius Gaylele says, at the Goldman, I saw your video yesterday and I agree with your opinion on turning animation into live action. But what about the reverse, like for the Harry Potter show? That's actually a great question. Because, they're doing the movies and now they're making it a show. They're both going to be in live action. I think it's different because the show is not an adaptation of the movies. The show is still an adaptation of the books. So the movies are kind of irrelevant in a way. It's just the second time we're seeing an adaptation of this. It's like saying this Netflix this Netflix show for Avatar was an adaptation of the M. Night Shyamalan film 15 years ago. Oh, I should have made a video on that movie. Maybe next year. So yeah, I don't think it's quite the same thing. And because it's still an adaptation of the books, I'm very much looking forward to the HBO show. Abby says, will you discuss Christopher Robin movie years later? It's a live action movie that came out in 2018. Maybe. I've heard great things. I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard great things. Hot Sauce says, at the Goldman, I loved your sequel trilogy Star Wars videos. It has made me more appreciative of them and inclined to actually like them a lot more. I was also convinced that Rey is not a Mary Sue. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. That was my life's mission. Sean says, Goldman, you probably already knew this, but if you look at it in a way, Star Wars and Avatar are connected by D. Bradley Baker and also Dave Filoni directing some of the episodes. I did know that, and that is true. Supposedly, one of the clones that Dave Filoni made in the Clone Wars, I forgot which one, has an arrow on his head as like a tribute to Aang. Dream car is DeLorean from Back to the Future. That'd be cool. Rishav says, I remember a few months ago you said that you were considering doing a Rian Johnson filmography video. Yeah, I think I might do that when Knives Out 3 comes out, because that comes out this year. So like I'm considering doing a filmography video for James Gunn, because his Superman movie comes out, Rian Johnson, because I can bait him and I love The Last Jedi, and Knives Out 3 comes out, and then James Cameron, because the next Avatar movie comes out. Yeah. Persephone says it's fine to delay them if they have a problem in anything, but they could say something about them, like if they happen and where are the creators with the creative process. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, the animated movies? We'll see. Robert Allen says, do you think the Tales of Ba Sing Se episode would fit into the live action Avatar? It's one of the best episodes, and I want to see it, but I don't know how well it would translate. I don't think it would translate well. They probably don't want to have the time to do it because they'll be focused on other stuff. But there is no way they don't include the Leaves to the Vine. Is that what it's called? Leaves from the Vine. Leaves from the Vine. Although they kind of teased it a little bit in season 1. I mean, that's like the best scene in the entire series. So I hope it happens. Diogo says, will you be making a Dune and or Dune 2 review? Yes, I'm going to be doing a Dune Part 2 1 year later video on March 1st. Not Part 1. I'm not covering Part 1. Just Part 2. Because Part 1 came out, 3 years ago? I could, but I'd rather not. Ryan Wright says, cool jacket alert. Whoa, and happy Sunday. Yes, happy Sunday to you, and go Eagles. Sean says, it was Appa that was the clone who was attributed to Aang. I wonder if he was named after Appa. Titan says, LOL, Titan is fine. My name is based on an anime, and I like trains. Q&A, do you plan at some point to also review Invincible? Maybe. I haven't seen it. Lots of things I'd like to review, but I am limited because I'd like to make very in-depth videos. So that means the more in-depth my videos are, the less videos I get to make. So I have to be very particular with what I cover. Abby says, will you do a video of Black Widow movies years later? I'm unaware of Thunderbolts movie coming out this May, and it's a great way to discuss the Marvel movie beforehand. No, I'm not going to cover Black Widow specifically. That was, 4 years ago now? I might do an MCU Phase 5 video, because I believe Thunderbolts is the end of Phase 5. Ooh, so maybe I should do that in May. Phase 5 was not good. Phase 5 was worse than Phase 4. Yeah, that's not good. Rey's parents were not going to show up in the Mandalorian film. I'll bet you that. By the way, I'm going to wrap up the stream in about 3 minutes. So if you have any burning questions, get them in now. I need to make some food. I am hungry. What do you think of the new Fantastic Four trailer? I'll watch it, but I'm not blown away. I heard one of the show writers for the Harry Potter show did not read the books, and that has me feeling apprehensive, especially after watching a recent video on the Goblet of Fire movie. Your thoughts? I think if you have a big writer's room of 5 to 10 people, I think it's actually essential that you have one person there that has not read the books. This way they can judge the adaptation on its own merits and say, okay, does this work as a story? So I don't mind that at all. If this person was one of 2 writers or the writer, then I'd be concerned. But if it's just one of many, I think it's actually a very good idea. Because that's something Andor has done. With Andor, one of their main writers hasn't seen anything Star Wars, and he's just concerned with telling a good story. So I actually support that very much. Dan the Man says, at the Goldman, happy Sunday, bro. Normally I tune into your vids, but I got to skip the Avatar one until the title changes. I enjoy the live action version and bonded with the Aang actor at DragonCon. That's awesome, man. Gordon Cormier seems like a really cool dude. I'm glad he's playing Aang, and I hope season 2 and 3 get better. I just didn't like it. the show. Abdul says, at this point, I'm not expecting anything amazing from the live action at this point. I just want to see if they're able to creative enough, but not stray too much from the original. I agree. I'll still watch it, and I hope they're great. Goldman, would you say a motto of yours would be quality over quantity? Not entirely, because I do want to get at least one video out a week. In a perfect world, I would take a month off to make a Clone Wars video, but instead I've released individual parts for each season. So it's a balance. I like to say I'm more quality. Finn says, Netflix's Avatar doesn't feel like it's been a year ago. Your video from yesterday was solid. Still agree with a lot of the flaws. I hope you have a good Sunday. You too. Thank you. The Amazing World of Autistic Fanboy says, thumbs up if you had a great day. Thumbs down if you had if you didn't have a good day. Thumbs up. So far, so good. All right, last question. Have you done the What the Bender quiz on the Avatar Studios website? I have not. I should take that. What the Bender quiz. Yeah, I'll do that next time. I'll do that later. Anyways, I think you have to like pay to see it, actually. I don't know. I'm going to wrap up the stream now. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in, as always. I'll be back for another stream, either Tuesday or Wednesday. I think I said Tuesday, but I need to get the thumbnail ready. Tuesday for a tier list video on the MCU. So I'm looking very much forward to that. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching another one of these videos. Don't forget to hit the Cloud Squad, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.